Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you're watching this introduction. My name is Professor Len Brown, and I'm looking forward to meeting each one of you. I'm standing at a location about 20 miles away from Franklin and Marshall. It's very peaceful here. You can see the newly mown hay, the corn growing, and the tobacco behind me. You'll also see a historical marker over my left shoulder because the ground here belies the blood that was shed nearly 170 years ago. This is a location of an event referred to as the Christiana Riots. Not far behind me, from where you see me standing now, was the home of William Parker. Mr. Parker was a free black man living in a free state in the Union of the United States. On September 11th, 1850, he was also housing and protecting a number of escaped slaves from the South. You see, not long before this, the United States had passed a very unfortunate law called the Fugitive Slave Act, which gave individuals who owned other individuals in the South the right to come to the North and retrieve slaves that had escaped. Well, Mr. Parker was protecting slaves. A federal marshal came with the owner of the slaves and made a raid on Mr. Parker's home. Shots were exchanged and 4 people died. Not long after that, 41 indictments for treason were handed down against a number of people in this area of Christiana who were mostly part of the Underground Railroad. The first man to be tried was a white man. He had as his attorney Thaddeus Stevens, a man buried not far from Franklin and Marshall College, and a man who refused to be buried in the more prestigious cemeteries of Lancaster because he refused to be buried in a segregated cemetery. Well, the jury deliberated about 15 minutes before acquitting the first person tried for the Christiana Riots. A number of the slaves that were being held continued their journey north, settled in Canada. You may be asking, why am I talking about the Christiana Riots in a course that's going to look at international human rights? Well, 36 years before the Christiana Riots, a seminal event took place called the Congress of Berlin. And the Congress of Berlin was the first time in history that sovereign nations declared an act to be a violation of international human rights. And that act they declared to be a violation was slavery. They called it repugnant and immoral. Yet the United States continued the practice that was perhaps the worst embodiment of slavery the world has ever seen. I hope when this course is over, you will see the implications of human rights all around you, because they are. They're part of the history of where you're going to college. You'll see them in the news events that we will be looking at. And I'm excited to take this journey with you as we look at the world today and as we look at stories of human rights throughout history. You're going to be hearing from people who have actually lived the story of international human rights, are living it now. And I'm excited to take the journey with you. As we go through the course, I hope you'll really think about, what are human rights? What is a human right? What does it mean to be human? And are these rights universal? We'll engage one another on these issues, and it's my hope that you'll have a deeper understanding of them, of international human rights law, and also begin to think of some of the solutions to perennial problems that our world has faced. So, welcome to my class. I look forward to meeting you.